I have no family history. I was mad. I was absolutely mad I got a cancer diagnosis. I thought this is the most insane thing I've ever heard of. To this day, I still think that's the most insane thing I've ever heard. I'd come back from flying and I had the suitcase and I'm putting everything down, I'm throwing my lingerie and I see a little speck of blood, just tiny itty bitty pinhead speck of blood in my bra. And I'm thinking, you know what, I've been traveling, I've scraped something, no big deal. I was lucky in the fact that I had to cancel a doctor's appointment. My doctor's appointment was the next day after I see the speck of blood. So I'm taking my little bra in and I'm like, I know this doesn't mean anything, but look at this to my doctor. And my doctor goes berserk. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding. This is just not a big damn deal. And she's like, when's your last mammogram? And I'm like, 4 months ago. So she sends me for a mammogram, a sonogram through the local hospital. So I go. They find nothing, absolutely nothing. So they send me to the local surgeon's office, breast care specialist of Atlanta, and the head of there, I saw the head, and she's like, that's just not normal. We're going to find it because something is happening. I'm like, I've had a mammogram and a sonogram. How are you going to do it? Well, there's a whole different technique. For anybody that's had a mammogram, this is, you look like Barbella by the time you finish with the type of mammogram that I had to have. But that's how they found it. We have Alzheimer's. We have heart disease. So I should have had a heart attack and not know about it. You know, no breast cancer at all. So, and it was found just really weird anyway. And when I got the diagnosis, I Googled and everything else like everybody does when you get a diagnosis of something, and it said that there was a chance that it would never become invasive. And, you know, you might leave it untreated. So that's what I did. I'm shopping around doctors. I wanted to find somebody to say, you know what, that Google search was right. And these were good websites. These were not just, you know, stupid websites. So I went through my internist. I went through my breast surgeon. I went to an oncologist. And I was still on the cusp. I'd been diagnosed in November. It was the end of February before I decided to have the surgery. And it was only because I went and saw Dr. Alexander. And she looked at me and she shook her head and she's like, what are you thinking? I can make you a pretty new boobie. It's not a big deal. When I initially met with Dr. Alexander, Meryl had gone to the same breast care surgeon that I went to. So Meryl came in and showed me the reconstructed breast and the scar in her abdomen from the tram flap. It humanized it to the fact that I can look at her, I could feel it, you know, I could feel her breast, and it's like, wow. I've dealt with a mother being in a nursing home for 12 years. I know life is short. Cancer can take you, heart can take you, so many things can take you. I've always enjoyed life. I appreciate the people around me. I try to give back to the community. I laugh about everybody has seen my breasts that's in my community because so many people have had breast cancer and they're scared and they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna be disfigured forever. And so, you know, I pull out my tip. What can I say?